I can. What's going on?
There we go. Okay, already. Okay. All right. So, hi, I'm Danielle. And I just started packing lunch for my 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old for her preschool. Last year was her first year of school, and it was stressful and caused me lots of anxiety. So that's why I'm here, thinking that I can hopefully help other people.
And meanwhile, myself, I'm Nicole Fuller. I've been packing school lunches, seems like forever. I have a 15-year-old, 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So freshman, 7th grader, 4th grader. Luckily, my freshman, he's on his own, but I've been packing lunches and snacks for years now. And the stress and anxiety is slowly starting to go away from
It's
it.
still there though.
It's still there, and it's more like, I have to start packing lunches again.
So we've a wide age
Yes.
range here of hopefully help for you guys, for you moms. So again, we thought this would be helpful. We would love to hear from you. And this is our first poll. So let's see if I can
Let's see if it works.
pull it up. We are going to launch this bad boy. Okay, is that up? So the first question is, what are you packing this school year? So are you packing snacks? Are you packing lunches? Are you packing both? Are you packing other things?
So go ahead and enter your answer in the poll.
And so I thought
wait,
that this
so-
was going to come up one question at a time, and it's not.
Oh,
So-
it's doing all the questions at once.
Okay, so we have 5 questions. So you guys take the poll, and I will go down and read it. And if you're not seeing a poll, comment, chat me. Okay,
Okay,
you're
all right.
seeing it. Okay, good.
Someone answered.
Okay, perfect. We're getting
Okay,
answers.
good.
We've been
Second
praying.
question.
Okay.
We'll
Ours
go,
is
we'll
good.
go over the results at the end.
Yes. Second question is, what grade levels are you packing for? I see other preschool mamas.
Okay. Oh, middle school. Elementary. Yep.
Oh, some
Oh,
high
high
school.
school.
Okay. We were wondering if high school kids were too cool for it or not. This is awesome. Okay, this is going so well. How much time do you have to pack school lunches? I was telling Nicole that when I first started packing lunches last September, I was taking an hour. It's excessive.
That hour is a lot.
It's way too much for a working mom. What stresses you out the most about school meals?
Time it takes your
Child
child
actually eating it.
Yeah.
Like I should have made an all of the above option. Okay, that's interesting. When do you plan to pack? We're 50-50 on evening before and morning of. So that's super interesting. Okay, so I feel like that's good. We're gonna give it another 10 seconds just to make sure everybody had a chance to answer it. That will be 2 minutes because I can see a little timer here. And then we can review together. Okay, so I'm going to end poll and share the results. Awesome. Okay, so let's look together. Back to question 1. What are you packing this school? So snacks and lunches. I do snacks and lunches too.
I do lunches, but it's like a lunch, but they get a snack in the lunch. I don't know. Does that count?
Both. We're doing both. Okay, number 2, what grade levels? So a lot of preschools, elementary, middle school, then high school in order. Okay.
That's kind of how we thought it was going to.
Yeah. How much time do you have to pack it? So 1 to 5 minutes, 5 to 10 seems to be the range. And then, oh, you lucky mamas who can take their time. Awesome.
But you still don't need to be spending
Right.
an hour making school lunches.
Right. Absolutely. What stresses you out the most? The winner here is, will your kid actually eat it? I get that. And then the time it takes. Those are my 2 big stressors. I mean, they're all stressors for me, but cost, food waste, your child being hungry during the day, and other. When do you plan? Again, 50-50 on the when people plan to pack lunch, which is interesting. I am an evening before packer.
Same.
All right, so we are going to stop sharing our poll and minimize it
And we'll go over the answers or like help with some of the issues during the presentation. workshop.
Exactly. I changed this to a workshop because I thought that would make us more interactive. And again, if you have comments, if you have questions, throw them out to us.
Yes.
All right, let's jump in. Okay, so what a school meal should strive to be. And the first word that popped into my head was balanced. And the
100%.
right? I mean, the reason we had put these things is because my goal is to keep them full during the day so that one of our stressors that was listed before doesn't happen where they're getting hungry throughout the day and then they come home like savages. So grains for energy, hopefully whole grains if we can. I was telling Nicole, we're a big wheat thin family. All of a sudden, they're 100% whole grains and they keep those bellies full.
Also because whole grains have fiber, which keep you fuller longer.
Smart. Fat and protein is a big push. The fat and the protein does the same. It keeps you full longer. So for me, for my preschool age child, we're a full fat family. I do whole milk.
Same here, and I'm
Okay.
15, 12, and 9-year-olds.
Okay.
Full fat milk.
Yeah, they're growing, they're developing. They need that to keep full all day. And then water's a big one for me. And I feel like my daughter, I don't know if your sons do the same. She comes home and she didn't take one sip and the water bottle is full. It's like, just like weighs her backpack down. But I'm like, drink water throughout the day. It helps your entire body.
I think also it might be because they were wearing masks.
That's a good point.
I know, and I know that in my kids' elementary school and high school, I think the water fountains were not even
That's such a good
accessible, so they
point.
couldn't refill their water bottles. But
Okay.
as they get older, they do start to drink, but it doesn't come home as full
Okay, good.
as it used to. But she also might not have thought about it because
Right.
she had the mask.
That's a good point. Well, we're
But
unmasked this
still
year, I
send
think.
still send the water.
I always try to, this was a big thing I thought was important to mention. I always try to include a safe food, something that I know she will eat. For us, her safe food is these Stonyfield organic yogurt squeezies. So they're full fat. So I know she's getting the fat from that. She's getting the protein from it. And I know she's gonna eat those because she drinks those like crazy.
And there are also other options, sorry.
No,
Interrupting,
that's what I
I'm
want.
adding.
That's what I want. I love it.
So there are, and you could do the squeezies. I mean, if you shop at Trader Joe's, they even have the little containers if they're feeding themselves with a spoon, or like the yogurt sticks.
Yes. Oh, the Go-Gurt.
The Go-Gurts,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, and you know what else I do as like a trick? And this is kind of what I want this to be like, just us feeding off each other. So you guys feedback to us. I freeze the Go-Gurt
I was gonna
ones
say, yeah.
because by the time lunch comes around, they're defrosted, but they're not completely defrosted where they squeeze them and they go everywhere. So
Good idea.
that's I thought, brilliant tip for the day. I threw these pretzels in there and I put a little disclaimer. These are not whole grain, but they're, for some reason, the shape of them, my kid loves them. I make little sandwiches. She makes cheese sandwiches with them. We put peanut butter. Peanut butter is allowed in your classroom in between them and make little sandwiches, hummus even, things like that. Okay, that's me for that slide. Did I leave anything else?
No, you're good. Cheese is also another, like, if your child likes cheese, it's a good, I think, safe kind of food to put in there, for sure.
That protein, that fat.
Mhm.
These Laughing Cow cheeses my girl loves.
Or the Baby Bells,
Oh, yeah.
those my kids like.
Speaking of Baby Bells and not wasting time, you don't have to try this, moms. I got a bunch of cute cookie cutters and I was cutting shaped into the Baby Bell like wax. It didn't make her eat it. So if you were thinking about spending your time doing that, you don't have to.
And also sending a fruit. Fruit can also be, something easy for them to eat, like if you're worried about them peeling something, but the mandarins and clementines are easy to peel. You could send something like that. My kids always complained if I sent a banana because it gets like mushy. So that always came back, but apples, mandarins or clementines, fruit is always a great thing to send along.
Yes, part of that balance, right? Awesome. Okay. This was a big one, and I talk about it all the time. We were just talking about it with our coworkers. How to talk to kids about food. again, my kids are little, so I'm curious the difference in how I talk to them and how, Nicole, you talk to yours. It depends on their age, obviously, but my main theme is that food is energy for your growing body, and you need food, especially at school, to learn new things, to play with your friends, to play on the playground, and things like that. And I'm also a big pusher of no bad foods because, I know what I'm sending my kids. I don't know what other moms are sending their kids, and I don't want my child to ever make somebody else feel bad by saying something is a bad food or whatnot. So in our house, we don't have bad foods. We have everyday foods and we have sometimes foods. What's funny is that we've been reading a book every night, me and my daughter. And in the book, Kellen the bear says, every day is a good day for birthday cake. And every time I read that page, Gwen will say, not every day though. It's not an everyday food. I'm like, that's right, girl. So they listen to me, I guess, sometimes. What do you find?
I also think I work with a dietitian who she said this, and it's just stuck with me, that there eat, and you want your kids to learn this too. Eat more of the best and less of the rest. And that kind of is the same thing when you're saying everyday foods versus sometimes foods.
Yep.
The everyday foods is more of the best, less of the rest.
Awesome.
You got to have balance. There is no food that's off limits.
Right.
I totally agree with that concept.
I love this picture. I put this in because, again, I try to be a creative mom, but this looks like a butterfly and like how easy it's a cheese stick. So I feel like making it look cute, but in an easy, fast way is awesome. And then me and Nicole both love these resources that are here. I follow these social media accounts, Kids Eat in Color and Feeding Littles, and they kind of talk a lot about how to talk to kids about food, but then they also throw in cute ideas of snacks and lunches. Mm-hmm. So if you're not following those two accounts, do it. I'm going to write them down now so that at the end of this, I can go back and type that in the chat. Thank you.
Feeding Littles. I know they're on Instagram. I don't know if they're on anything else, probably.
Okay. All right. Packaged favorites at our houses. Again, we already talked about those Stonyfield yogurts, love them. Mini waffles seems to be a huge hit all of a sudden in our house. Like, we'll give them the large waffles now, and they're like, oh no, I only want the mini. I'm like, okay, well, we're getting a little picky here. But they're so cute, those little minis, because then you can make little sandwiches out of them. They love those.
And you can buy, and I know a lot of times people poo-poo packaged foods. And we, as moms, we have busy lives. Some of us work. It's convenient, it's easy, and they can be healthy. You can get the waffles whole wheat or whole grain. They even sell them at Trader Joe's. So sometimes you got to give yourself some slack. And like with the mini waffles, you said you could put things in between them. You could do a nut butter, like sun butter, peanut butter, almond butter, whatever, and then you can have some protein with it and make a little sandwich.
And the Kodiak is a really great brand for whole wheat items. I feel like you had something.
Oh no.
The other thing, so I love, you can't see where I'm pointing. I love these fries that are put over here because they're whole grain crust, not fries, chicken nuggets. Our Dino Nuggets have a whole grain crust. So at least I feel like a little bit better about giving them chicken nuggets and things like that.
And, you can't go wrong with a cheese stick as a packaged good. Or if you were packaged like hummus, I couldn't find a plain hummus. So this is roasted, whatever. You could pick whatever hummus you want. It's got protein in it. It's got some fiber. If your children like guacamole and you don't make your fresh on your own, you can buy the packages. Those are great too to send along.
And they have the holy guacamole there is like the little packages ones. The hummus comes in those too.
Yeah. That's
perfect to throw, in a lunchbox if it's something that you think that they want to try. And I always also, I ask my daughter's preschool teacher to send me back what she doesn't eat, because I know a lot of times, sometimes the teachers will just throw them out for convenience, which I totally understand. But I ask them to send it back to me just so I can see what she's actually eating, so that I'm not being wasteful. If I'm sending her every day the little thing of hummus, those aren't cheap. If she's not eating it or she's taking like one bite of it, I just want to know. So that's, a tip that I might,
That's a good idea.
add. Okay. These are lunch and snack ideas that I literally Googled. Okay. You know, because sometimes your brain is just not working. So, I mean, these are easy. I always offer a fruit. Vegetables I don't always offer for snack and lunch, but I try to. Dips are huge. My kid will try any dip. She won't, if she doesn't like it, she'll stop eating it. But dips, I feel like at least get her to taste something. Whole grain carbs, these are all things that we already talked about. I just wanted to show you how simple it can be to, you know, get inspiration off of Google.
And I think it, you know, when the first slide that you had was about balance. If we're just breaking it down of what we want our kids to eat and try and mimic that with our lunches or snacks, like whole grains, lean protein, fruit, vegetables, dairy, you know, like trying to get in at least half of those in a meal.
Yep.
It takes a lot of the pressure off and the guesswork off, and using, you know, some of these examples to get that done.
Yeah. I always try to throw like a fruit in. That's my easy part, you know, like a fruit. And then sometimes I struggle with what whole grain am I going to throw in today? But I feel like even the food groups here, I have our little plate here. Even if I'm stumped and can't think of what to throw in that kid's lunch, I'll go back to the 5 food groups and I'll say, okay, do I have a fruit? Do I have a vegetable? At least then it kind of helps me plan a little bit. Okay. Oh, I love this one. Oh, another nutrition poll. I forgot about it. Okay. Let's see what to look for. Let's try another poll, folks.
Bring up the new
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, wait, yes. This is good. Nutrition polls. This one's only 2 questions, so it's a quick one. We're going to launch it. Okay, so the first question is, do you try to check food labels? You can be honest. This is totally anonymous. I will be honest that sometimes, or I usually try to check them, but occasionally I will, my daughter will see something in the store and I'll be like, yes, you can have that. I'm not even gonna look at it because I'm tired. So that's okay.
And also sometimes you just know that it's not going to be great.
Right,
You
right.
just take an animal.
Right. She's been obsessed with, have you guys seen those? Like, they're like, animal crackers. I don't hate animal crackers. There's whole grain animal crackers out there, but my daughter wants the pink ones, the ones that are frosted with sprinkles on top. So like, obviously I know those aren't great. They're not an everyday treat, but heck yeah, I'm going to buy you those if it keeps you quiet in the store. There, I said it. All right. Our next question is, when looking at foods for your kids, what do you look at first? This is something I'm always interested in.
Okay.
I always think people are going to look at calories first. I love the answers we're getting.
I love the answers too.
I like that calories wasn't even something that you guys picked. Yes. That's awesome. Ingredient list is my favorite and my first thing that I always look at. What about you?
I would probably say ingredient list.
Yeah.
Ingredient list or the sugar.
Yep.
Added sugar.
Just like you guys. That's awesome. Okay, cool. We're going to end that. Oh, you didn't even get to see that. Wait, I'm sharing it now. Okay, now you guys can see what you answered. Yeah. So do you try to check labels? So most of us will give them a glance. Awesome. Some of us, yes, always. Some of them try, some of us try. It's not a top priority, but when I can. Awesome. That's where we want to be. And then, like we mentioned, the second question, I love that calories isn't the first, isn't what anybody chose. I love that everybody's looking at ingredients lists and sugars. A big thing for me, I'm like in a rush. I don't, if it's a paragraph, I put it right back. If it's a couple ingredients, I'm like, okay, how bad could it be with only 4 ingredients in it? And I think that leads us right into Nicole, what you put here. Okay.
So, I mean, I think you guys nailed it. You're not looking directly at the calories. What should we look at? I will say one thing, to be honest, that you should, looking at everything is okay, right? And you could see the label here that we're sharing with you right away. One of our polls should have been, do you know how to read a food label?
You're right. It should have been.
I just take for granted thinking that everybody knows how to read a food label, but you know, it tells you the serving size. So for this, I think it's 1 ounce. Hold on, she's got a 1 ounce, right? And that is actually for that package of potato chips. But so in 1 ounce, and what you see underneath is exactly what's in that 1 ounce of potato chips. If it said the serving size is 1 ounce and in the bag there's 2 ounces, you would have to double whatever it is. Okay. So you should look at the sugar. It is recommended, you know, when we're looking at sugar, you also want to look at added sugar. This one does not have any added sugar. The sugar less than 1 gram is the natural sugar that's in the potato. But if there's added sugar, you see the percent daily values that are on the side of the oh my gosh,
Label.
the label.
I think, I don't know if you can see my mouse.
The percent
can.
daily value. When something is low, you know, if they say it's low in sugar or low in fiber or high in fiber, low is 5% or less. Okay. If something is high in something, it's 20% or more. So you definitely want to choose foods that have less added sugar to them. Natural sugar is okay. It's the added sugar that we're looking at. When it comes to fat, same thing. Something that's low in saturated fat would be 5% or less. So if you're looking at this actually is not low in saturated fat. Saturated fat, you know, do we have to worry about it so much as children? I mean, we could start now and start, you know, thinking about it at least. Saturated fat is what's worst, or the worst type of fat for your heart and heart disease. So we would want to choose things that are unsaturated rather than saturated fat. You want to look at the ingredients. You know, you might have heard people say the less ingredients, the better. I agree with that, unless you're looking at something that is made from all natural ingredients, you know what I mean? And it might have more than 5, but if it's got a lot, like Danielle said, if you're reading a paragraph, I probably would avoid it. And you want to kind of check to see what they are. Once you've read a couple of labels, you'll kind of get the idea and not have to read every single label out there. Fiber is good to look at because, to be honest, most Americans are not getting the amount of fiber we should be eating. And more, even what I'm reading now, being a dietitian over 20 years, of how important fiber is for keeping us fuller longer, which we want to do for kids in school, but it's just such a great thing to make sure we're getting in our diets.
All righty.
That was a lot of information about labels.
There's a lot more too, I'm sure.
Yes.
I love this picture because a lot of times I'll go into high schools and I'll put this picture up next to a picture of Lay's barbecue flavor. And the barbecue flavor obviously has a whole paragraph. And I'll just ask the high school kids, which is better for you? And they'll think it's a trick question. They'll like run up to the board and like reread everything. And it could be the easiest answer because
it's potatoes, oil, and salt.
Yep. Okay. Let me move this so we can read what we have. Okay.
So this I put up there kind of, first of all, My Plate. For those of you that don't know what My Plate is, My Plate is, back in the day, there used to be the Food Guide Pyramid, which is defunct now. And the USDA has come up with this campaign called My Plate. You can go to myplate.gov and it has amazing resources, but it kind of takes the guesswork out of it, right? And I put this for children to 8 as far as serving sizes. If you have a high schooler or a middle schooler, it's going to be a little more than the servings that's listed. And I know the age range 2 to 8 is rather large. If you have a 2 to 3 year old, if you're looking at portions, it's about half as much as what an adult should be eating. So I kind of just broke it up, and you could see that this plate kind of mimics the one that's on the screen, right? It's broken up to your proteins, your grains, your fruit, and your vegetables, okay? So I kind of went through how many servings a day a child should have. That's ranges 2 to 8. So if you have a child that's older than 8 and above, obviously it's going to be more than what's listed, but not too much more, to be honest. So fruit, 1 to 2 cups a day. which is again, a large range. If your child falls somewhere in the middle between 2 to 8, you would just divide it in half, right? Veggies, 1 to 2.5 cups, protein. And we're gonna go over briefly what each serving is considered. Protein, 2 to 5.5 ounces. How many servings of dairy a day? 2 to 2.5 cups a day. And whole grains, 1.5 to 3 ounces. When it comes to grains, try to choose whole grains when you can. I'm going to be honest. When my kids were little, it was only whole wheat or whole grain bread in my house. And then my mother-in-law moved in and loved her to death, but she grew up with Wonder Bread. So when she moved in, she bought Wonder Bread. And when she would take care of my kids, guess what kind of bread she gave my children? Oh, I have something in my mouth, sorry. So guess what my kids stopped eating? They stopped eating whole wheat bread and whole grain bread. And to this day, I'm still fighting to get them to eat whole wheat bread again. So it is a challenge, but when we can, try to choose whole grains, crackers, pasta, rice, all of the above.
I feel like the key as a mom is when we can.
When we can.
With everything, not just
When
whole
we
grains.
can. Yes, we are not perfect. All right.
Okay, so we have a question.
Oh,
My kids aren't that into meat and cheese at the moment, and the school is
nut free.
oh, nut free. I'm like, butt free. Okay, is nut free. What are some other proteins to pack? Awesome question. So they don't like meat, they don't like cheese, but we're nut free.
What about if it's a nut free school, you could try
Hummus.
hummus. Well, would sun butter, it's a seed. So you can try, if your sun butter is allowed, it's a peanut or nut free alternative.
Yeah. I think I wrote
You could
something
do hummus.
cream
Any,
cheese. Do they do cream cheese? I know you said no cheese, but I feel like that's a different kind of. We do cheese with honey on top. Sometimes it kind of like tricks her. I don't know.
yogurt.
Yogurt. Eggs, hard-boiled eggs. I don't know if we slice them really funny. Like I feel like sometimes when you make things look different, it could help. Let's see. I hope that helps. I feel like I don't know that we answered the protein question as much as we
Yeah,
could.
and beans, if you can get them to eat beans or
Yeah.
try to, it might be starting with hummus first. That could be an idea, but eggs, yogurt would be an option. Yeah.
A spreadable cheese. We do back to wheat thins and those square pretzels. Laughing Cow. Laughing Cow is like a soft cheese, and we make little sandwiches out of it. And that seems to, she eats them sometimes.
Yeah. Trying, offering it in different ways sometimes work. So instead of just offering cheese as cheese, trying it a different way,
Yeah.
the little sandwiches or, yeah, exactly what
Awesome.
you said.
I love this question. What is the difference between whole wheat and whole grain? I'll let you.
It's very similar. We kind of just throw those terms around. Whole grain would be more intact grain, not ground. Okay. Either one is fine.
And whole grain could really be any grain,
Yes.
right? Like oats, it could be oats. Whole wheat is the specific
Yes.
to the wheat
Wheat.
grain.
Yeah. Grains could be couscous, quinoa. Those are
rice.
barley, rice.
Yeah.
Those are grains.
What I try to do when I'm looking is to look for the word whole.
Yes.
Like, so the word whole is what you want. It could be whole wheat, it could be whole grain, but
As
you're
long-
getting that fiber.
Right.
Cool. Next question. My son loves to snack so much he won't eat dinner. Any tips? Me and Nicole were talking about that. So this is my personal take on that. And health educator, put in, my kids don't always eat dinner. Okay, my kids love breakfast. My kids love snacking. They snack all day. But it's the type of snacks that we're giving them that I think is what's more important. I know for a fact that my kid ate really good snacks today because they were wheat thin crackers. That's 100% whole wheat. I think it's wheat. That makes sense. With healthy cheese, with fruit, with carrot sticks and things like that. So whether it's a snack or a full meal, to me, what's more important is the quality of that snack. If your kid is getting a whole grain and a protein in that snack, that's awesome. And a lot of times by the time dinner rolls around, my kids aren't hungry for the rest of the day because they ate all their calories earlier in the day. So that's my take. I don't know that, we need to specifically make sure they're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As long as they're eating enough food and they're not starving, to me, that's
Right.
That's
And
goal.
and as long as you want to try and get like the slide has as much of the fruits, veggies, protein, dairy, and whole grains as you can.
And actually, so later on in the slide, I put a picture. If your kid is a snacker like my kids, I make a charcuterie board sometimes when I'm exhausted and I don't feel like cooking dinner. I will put a fancy board out and I will do different cheeses, different fruits, different cut up carrots and veggies. And it just looks like a big tray of snacks and it's their dinner because it's balanced. It's got cheese, it's got protein, it's got fruits and veggies, it's got everything on it. So it looks like a snack to them. But for me in my head, I know it's balanced and I know it's all of the nutrition that they need. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, so if you're sending, the question is, if you send your kids with cooked chicken nuggets or mini waffles, how do you pack it? I assume they're just eating it cold at lunch. Unless you are sending them to a preschool where they heat up their food with a microwave, it will be cold.
I have seen, and I have not tried this, so do not quote me, but I thought, obviously I'm on TikTok because who isn't? But there's thermoses like that are supposed to be for like oatmeal and soup. And I've seen moms put like warm up chicken nuggets in the morning and put them in the thermos, seal it up nice and tight. And then they say that the kid gets to lunch and it's warm for them. Again, I haven't tried it. I have also not given chicken nuggets for school because I know my kids wouldn't eat them cold.
Right.
So mini waffles, my son will eat out of the freezer. We were in Trader Joe's the other day. He literally ripped the box of frozen waffles open and was eating it as we walked through the store. So I was that mom. But try that. It sounds ridiculous for me to recommend TikTok. Check your sources, people. But these moms were swearing that it was keeping the food warm.
I do think you can try the thermos thing. I remember back in the day when my kids were young, a friend would do a grilled cheese in the morning and wrap it in aluminum foil and send it.
Okay.
Probably wasn't hot, but maybe it kept some of the warmth in.
Yeah. Same thing as the opposite when I said I send frozen yogurts in and they're a little bit melted by the time lunch rolls around. Just the opposite. So I hope that answers those questions. Thanks for writing in.
Questions.
I could do a whole just question answer. What's going on? Here we go. Okay.
So I just wanted to give some serving size examples, when we say, and again, myplate.gov is a wonderful resource. It has different age groups. It goes over all of the food groups. It's great. So for fruits and vegetables, when we say one serving, what does that mean? For fruit, 1 cup is equal to exactly that, 1 cup of fruit. So whatever the fruit is, or half a cup of dried fruit if your kids eat dried fruit, or 1 cup of 100% fruit juice. I'm not a huge fan of fruit juice, but 1 cup, 100% fruit juice does count as a serving. But it could be 1 small apple. Like you're not going to measure everything in cups. So like 1 small apple, 1 pear, I think it's 2 kiwis, a peach, nectarine, a slice of watermelon, some examples. Veggies, 1 serving is 1 cup of cooked or raw vegetables. Could be 1 cup of vegetable juice. However, when it comes to leafy salad greens, 1 cup is actually 2 cups of salad greens, if that makes sense. Unfortunately. So even as for adults, 2 cups of salad greens or raw leafy greens is equivalent to 1 cup. Protein, 1 ounce of meat, fish, poultry, whatever, is considered 1 serving. So 1 ounce, a quarter cup of beans, 1 egg, a tablespoon of nut butter. Seeds and nuts in general are also counted as protein. So that's it. Seeds, if your child, for the one who doesn't like,
I was just gonna say this.
Seeds like sunflower seeds. Dairy, 1 cup would be 1 cup of milk yogurt or soy milk, or 1.5 ounces of cheese. That's 1 serving.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Whole grains, 1 ounce equivalent, because it's always confusing. Like, how do you count
I
like
don't know.
grains. 1 ounce is 1 slice of bread, 1 cup of ready to eat cereal. And I'm talking like Cheerios or Rice Krispies, not, Fruit Loops.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
Good one.
Well, that would be a half a cup of the cooked cereal or rice, pasta, quinoa, couscous, what have you. These are just examples that are out there. Whole grains when possible.
I was gonna say, we had mentioned, I guess, if somebody's looking for fiber, to, what did we say before? To blend up your, you were saying, somebody had questioned that their kids don't love, they need more protein and fiber. We were saying if you take flaxseed and make sure it's processed, make sure it's blended up, couldn't think of the word, ground flaxseed, and put that in, like, mix that in yogurt or mix that on top of a smoothie in oatmeal. That's a really great way to get fiber in and a tiny bit of protein. The other thing I was going to say, you were mentioning leafy greens, and I don't know if I'm the only one rolling my eyes at my kids eating leafy greens, but I have a amazing story to tell you. So I thought for sure, what kid is going to eat leafy greens? My kids eat leafy greens because we grew them this year. Okay. So we had a garden. I don't have a green thumb. I can't grow anything except for this year we grew romaine and we grew kale. And my daughter would every morning before preschool go outside and say, I think we need some kale this morning. And she would take a leaf of kale and eat it on the drive to school.
Wow.
I was biting my tongue the whole time because, like, ew. Even I was like, ew, raw kale. But she would, like, get to school with, like, luckily we wore masks this year, with, like, green kale in her teeth. But she was so proud of herself that she grew it. And I feel like even it was awesome. So if you're somebody desperately trying to get your kids to eat leafy greens, try a garden, try growing it yourself, because my kids were both, so we never had enough for an actual salad though, because every morning she would pick a leaf off of it. And I was like, okay. But so, like, just a random tip to try. It might not work for anybody else, and it might not work again next year for my daughter, but this summer and this spring, it was awesome. So worth a try for sure.
Okay, so I just wanted to give you, this is again another graphic. Can you tell I like my plate? I'm constantly referencing
It's
them.
a good resource.
It's a great resource because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. It's just basics. You just want to try and choose more from these categories than other things. Like, this is where the main source of your children's foods should come from, is from these categories. Okay, so just a little graphic. And see on the bottom, Danielle, it even says the sometimes
I didn't make that up.
You have your sometimes foods.
So, and what was I gonna say, my plate, and I have not tried these, but I think they have a lot of games too. So my kids are too young, but I mean, I'm curious if there are any elementary school kids that, if you're trying to, I don't know, I don't think they have games on their website.
I don't know if they have games, but they have like, you can print out like coloring pages and things like that. They have a lot of great ideas, even for teens.
Awesome.
So this was, I believe, again, from the USDA website. I put a couple of resources. Again, it's not just my plate. EatRight.org is the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They have some resources. They have a specific, I think, kids link on their website. The EatRightFoundation.org and MyPlate.gov are some great resources. But again, this is an example of a school lunch. This looks one more that you would buy, but you could certainly mimic. They have a whole grain bun with lettuce, tomato, probably some lean turkey and cheese, milk, got some fruit there, and even some vegetables. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't always have to look like this.
Okay, so how can we get them to eat it? So this, I think, is more for preschool age kiddos, that I threw this slide together. So making it fun, making it colorful. I have these, I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can see my mouse. I have these little silicone cups in different colors, different shapes. I have these little picks. My kid absolutely loves them. She finds them so special, and it definitely gets her to eat things. And I don't know if I'm the only person with weird kids, but eyeballs also seems to get my children to eat just about anything. We put eyeballs in oatmeal sometimes. Okay. These little eyeball sprinkles, they are the cutest things, but they really like, they just make it fun. Get creative. Getting creative doesn't have to take hours. Like this little butterfly one on the bottom left, that's a little clip. How cute is that? And it could take you 2 seconds. The faces might look complicated, but we buy little rice cakes, peanut butter, and different things for the parts of the face. And it's easy and it's fast and it really gets them. I'll ask my daughter, what kind of face do you want today? And she often asks for a sad face, which I'm not sure what I should think, but I'll make her a sad face and she'll eat it. And that's, I guess, the goal. And I get her involved. Same thing as the garden. I ask her, what do you want for lunch tomorrow? What fruit do you want tomorrow for your snack?
I totally, getting them involved, putting them in the chef's seat. A lot of times as busy moms, even myself, I just want to like get it done but getting them involved, asking them questions, educating them a little bit about nutrition. If you go to the myplate.gov, I think they even have like
they're paying her.
I think they even have a grocery store bingo.
Oh, cute.
Yes, you can print it out. Getting them to try different things based on their colors. Getting them involved may help them eating more and giving you options of what you can send them with their lunch.
To take that even a step further, and I think this is for any age, is bringing them food shopping. And I know that like many of you are probably like, why would I bring them food shopping? How stressful. I bring my toddler food shopping and I've been doing it since she was a kid, but in Washington Township, at the Fresh Grocer, they have little mini shopping carts. My kids fight over them. And it's the cutest thing. And I'll say, yep, you can fill your cart and we go shopping. And then she wants to try it. So obviously she won't always pick and go for what is the healthiest thing. But I have to say that a lot of times we go straight to the produce aisle. We fill that little cart with healthy things, with produce and things like that. And by the time she gets to the junky aisle, I'm like, oh, there's no room in your cart, kid. Or sometimes I'll say, okay, we can choose one not everyday food that we can buy this week or whatever it might be. And a lot of times you'd be surprised if I say, do we really need that? She'll think for a second and she'll say, no, we have all of this, so taking them food shopping, definitely not on like a Saturday at prime time, but maybe like a Thursday evening or, Thursday lunch hour or something. It gets them involved and she gets so excited to get home and then try what she just picked out at the store.
I have to say, enjoy it, because when they get older, they don't want to come with you. And
I could see that.
Come with me. Don't you want to go grocery shopping?
Or give him $20 and say, go grocery shopping and see what he brings back. That might not be a good idea. Don't do that.
That's not a good idea. Not for a 15-year-old.
Yeah, you're right. But getting them involved with whatever is age appropriate. And even like new products, like I just remembered I have this. I have a Mott's applesauce, no sugar added. It's straight up just the applesauce, but it's a new flavor. It's Honeycrisp apple instead of just a regular apple. And my kids can't wait to try it. I found it at the store yesterday. So just like little things like that. And that's a healthy treat, So things like that. And then these are cute little, the Sistema To Go and the Bento kids bento boxes are just, I feel like they make lunch special and fun and cute. So let us know. So I think, is there more after this? I think that might be it. Okay, we'll keep going. So write us in the chat your ideas, guys. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what works for you. What have we said that has not worked for you? What have we said that you are going to try? We want feedback. We want this to be interactive. I'm going to check if this is the last slide. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, we have one more after this.
And also let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah.
How can we help you?
And the last slide here is, so this is my example of my charcuterie board. This was, you can't see what I'm pointing to, the heart, those are pancakes. Those are Kodiak pancakes with cinnamon. I put 4 chocolate chips in there. She ate some of this, not all of it, but cutting them into hearts. I have like little shaped cookie cutters that was like easy for her. She got to pick what shape I made those pancakes that morning.
I think they even have whole grain or whole wheat goldfish.
Yes, they do. And my kids don't taste the difference in that.
Yeah.
So over on the left, you'll see our mini waffles with chicken nuggets. My daughter saw it in a magazine, like kebabs, and wanted to try it. And that's all I had in the freezer. But both of my kids ate those for dinner. It's whole wheat waffles. It's white meat chicken and grapes. But that was dinner and they ate it. And then we're big on yogurt right now. I get plain yogurt, so it doesn't have all that sugar in it, and we add honey in it and into it and mix it up, and they love it.
In it too.
Yep, nuts,
Yeah.
flax, like we talked
Flax
about.
seeds.